Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the William McGrath. We've come this week's X-Men books. Now it's going to move on to this week's Avengers books. Kicking these off, we've got Avengers number 8. Where we left off, the Avengers were trapped in a nightmare by, well, Nightmare. Scarlet Witch was able to escape, where she discovered that the Impossible City was under attack by Mirrodin's Twilight Court, who were looking for Kang. So the issue opens with basically giving us some background on the Twilight Court, giving more information on the characters, in part through with a sparring session between Lancelot and Galahad. With explaining that the Twilight Court is very much supposed to be, or the current lineup of the Avengers is designed as as an antithesis to the Twilight Court. Lancelot being the star, Galahad being the god, Arthur being the king, presumably Parsifal being the icon, Bedivere being the engineer, Mordred being the witch, and so on and so forth. But so Vision in the present, Vision and Wanda are dealing with the Twilight Court. Mordred explains that they were basically clear they were Twilight Court was engineered, as she's able to basically take apart Wanda's hexes. Though Mordred clearly openly states that Wanda is more powerful than she. But Vision makes it clear that, yeah, this isn't a fight that him and Wanda alone can win. And so Wanda is able to contact Thor in the Dream Realm and explain that this is, this is a nightmare created by Nightmare. And so, and in fact, Nightmare asks how Thor is able to basically stand against him in the Dream Realm. And as Thor puts it, concerning his teammates, like all mortals, they are at the mercy of their dreams. But Thor is a god. And what is a god if not a dream that mortals have ever been at the mercy of? But he brings together the rest of the team while the fight between Wanda, Vision, and the Twilight Court continues. With Parsifal not involving himself, stating that telling him ordered that his blessing is victory as or as a sorcery, but only if it be just and with seven on with there being seven of the Twilight Court and two Avengers. That's numbers prevail, not skill. But Nightmare explains what it is that he wants. He explains respect. He's been wronged. One by Jean Grey and one by first by Jean Grey, then by General Strange. Upon stating all this, though, Thor laughs and says, "Fine. You win." And, as we've said, as we've given you your victory, well, by your terms, you return us to the waking world. But later, Thor and Nightmare are going to have a chat. The Twilight Court insists that Kang be turned over to them. He is a monster, and therefore, if the Avengers stand with him, well, they can't be that heroic, then can they? But as the issue ends, the rest of the Avengers have woken up. And now Parsifal sees that things have taken a turn, and at least for the interesting. That is where the issue ends. I'm glad we're, though the last storyline was related to the missing moment, I'm glad that we're getting back to story elements that were introduced in last year's Timeless one-shot. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Daredevil number 4. Where we left off, Daredevil had discovered that apparently his nemesis Bullseye was behind the actions of the Heat, while also having to deal with the fact that his friend Ben Urich was basically spreading falsehoods, spreading lies about Matt's new identity, Father Matthew. So the issue opens with Daredevil interrogating one of the members of the Heat. Basically wanted to know what it is that Bullseye's got them doing. Doesn't get answers. This guy doesn't know. But the following morning, Father Matt has a meeting with Ben Urich, during which it becomes clear that Ben is possessed. And the entity possessing him seems to basically just want increasing Ben's ambition to the point of making him want to, or being willing to, at the very least, not question sources if the information fits the narrative, the narrative he wants to push. But while asking questions of various less than reputable characters in Hell's Kitchen, Matt gets a call. Ashley has been arrested for shoplifting, and he seems to, he figures it seems to be, that she's just trying to, screw up enough that yet another authority figure gives up on her. But he states that he's a relentless pain in the ass, sent by God precisely in order to give a damn. And so, what Daredevil's managed to find out though is that seems the Bullseye and the Heat are going after Wilson Fisk's son. Butch. Butch Ferris, who's running crime in Hell's Kitchen. Daredevil's managed to find out that Butch plays cards at a hotel that's currently closed for renovation every week on a certain night. The Heat are there to try to take down Butch, and then Bullseye shows up, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. But he does manage to injure. It seems he manages to throw a knife into Butch's eye. Daredevil gets Butch out of the building when Ben Urich pulls up in a loud yellow sports car. Daredevil manages to exorcise the entity from him, and the issue ends with Daredevil kneeling over a collapsed Ben Urich, while off to the side is Butch Ferris still bleeding. And that, as I said, is where the issue ends. I'm kind of digging this whole demons possessing prominent figures in Matt's old life concept, while Matt's also to deal with other stuff. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got The Sentry, #1. The Sentry is a man with the power of a million exploding suns. He was... The idea was he was kind of a Superman analog for Marvel. But with some differences. One, intense agoraphobia. And two, the Void, basically his dark side, Sentry's darker side made manifest. The concept being that for every good thing the Sentry did, the Void did something equally bad. Because of this, partially because of this, because of the Void, the Sentry could be manipulated fairly easily. In fact, was manipulated quite handily by Norman Osborn back during Dark Reign. But there were some when the Void's in control, there are some definite issues, like the Sentry literally tearing Ares, the god of war, in half. However, most recently the Sentry was ripped in half by Null. Basically, as a form of revenge for when the Sentry tore Carnage in half back during the first New Avengers run. So, the issue opens. Jessica Jones is doing some renovations on her office, while Mayor Cage has brought their kids to work. But there's a loud explosion. and Jess goes to check it out. Apparently, a seems to have been a rather large explosion in a nearby apartment building, damn near gutting the place. Misty Knight and the Aberrant Crimes Division show up, saying that this is they're taking charge of the investigation. One of the all of the tenants of the apartment state that the apartment building say that the apartment was hit by laser beams and someone crashed through the ceiling and the whole building came down and everyone woke up outside. One woman states that her roommate Mallory, who has cerebral palsy, is missing. Misty and Jess investigate, and there are what appears to be traces of the Sentry's energy signature. And apparently this happened recently in Ohio. Whole family missing. Or a whole family killed. But 16-year-old named Ryan Topper hadn't been accounted for yet. We get a flashback showing earlier that day for Mallory. She works at a she's basically writes clickbait articles as she wants to be an actual reporter, but her editor thinks that she'd be a health and safety liability as an investigative journalist. Though her thoughts are that one investigative journalist isn't at risk when you're dealing with shady corporations and corrupt politicians. But Mallory's also a fan of Japanese stationery. And on bad days, she often will do unboxings of blind bags of stationery. But she has a memory of the Sentry fighting the Hulk. She experiences the memory of the Sentry fighting the Hulk, and then basically blows up her apartment building, and gets everyone out. Misty and Jess find Mallory's some of her personal effects, ask her roommate some questions, and Misty asks that the roommate be held in, kept in a holding cell for the moment, so that if necessary they can ask more questions of her. Across town, a DoorDash deliverer who's a mutant secretly. He's at basically dodgeball day. He experiences the memory of Sentry ripping areas in half, destroys the dodgeball, and also knocks out a massive part of the gym and tries to run away when he runs into Ryan Topper, who explains that he's trying to be that they've all got part of all these people have part of the Sentry's power, but he wants all of it. The two fight, and the young mutant, who states that he figured Krakoa wouldn't last because, well, no good pizza, too far from good pizza. But Farhad Anand is the mutant's name. Farhad and Ryan duke it out. And, well, Ryan wins, killing Farhad and absorbing the portion of the Sentry's powers that Farhad got. Mallory, meanwhile, has crashed down on one of the craters on the moon, saying that doing that is the only way that no one gets hurt. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. When a new Sentry book was announced, I was curious as to if they were going to bring back Bob, because, well, it's comics. Why say, part of the power of 1,000 exploding suns is, you're being able to reconstitute oneself after being ripped in half in space. But no, I kind of like this. The idea of people getting portions of the Sentry's power, and then little by little, and the idea that someone's trying to get all of it. So, interesting concept. I'm curious to see how everything works out. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got the Thunderbolts, #1. So this is the start of a new Thunderbolt series, clearly designed as a means, as something of being cross-promotional with the upcoming Thunderbolts film. So, while the Thunderbolts were originally a group of the Masters of Evil masquerading as heroes, for the most part, by and large, the Thunderbolts embraced being good guys. In some cases, it was just, realizing that they liked being cheered for doing good rather than getting punched in the face. So others, well, they saw it as a means to an end. So this Thunderbolt seems more of a Black Ops gig. The issue opens with Bucky tracking down various locations, eventually making his way to Lake Como, where he's gone to visit Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And he explains, he basically says he's there to kill, he intends to kill the Red Skull, and he wants Valentina on at his side for this. 3 days later in Argentina, Skull is rebuilding, and his organization in Argentina is attacked by Sharon Carter, the Destroyer. They don't stand a chance. But Bucky, Val, and Sharon find Red Skull's ugly castle. Of course, he's got Mastermen to protect him. And our 3 initial Thunderbolts make short work of them. And it seemed they allow the Red Skull to think that they walked into a trap. However, Red Guardian shows up. And the now Quartet take down Red Skull's forces. Bucky goes after Red Skull and seemingly kills him. Also, it's revealed early on that in the fight against the Mastermen that Val is actually an LMD, as the real Contessa was killed a while back. But this Red Skull that is killed is the one that took over the body of Alexander Lukin. And during everything, Val has basically, downloaded the entirety of his Castle's computer network. Turns out that Red Guardian was asked to bring some vodka, though not for a post-mission toast. He uses a Molotov cocktail and burn the place to the ground, which that's fine by Red Guardian. Elsewhere, yet another Red Skull clone Matt awakens, stating that he is the end. That is where the issue ends. Strong start. I've long been a fan of the Thunderbolts in concept. I've seen it go through various ways. Reformed villains, basically Marvel's Suicide Squad, as well as just a Black Ops team that has characters with more malleable to questionable morals. So far, I'm digging this. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.